Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly Astro forecast for today, February the 17th, going into the 23rd. Very glad to see you guys here with us today. This is like such a big week. I'm like hyper excited because of the eclipse and the fire horse and the lunar new year. We've got so much to cover today. So welcome back everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at the Beyond Mystic 003 channel here on YouTube. And of course, also on Rumble. A lot of cool new shows like Beyond Akashic, and of course, also Shannon. And yes, there's just so much to watch. So make sure you do not miss a single beat. And of course, you can also book in a session if you would like that at the Beyond Mystic consultation page. Just type in my name, Astrid, and then you're going to see the search results for that. Okay, wow, such a big week, guys. This is like the week that we have been building up towards. We are seeing the solar eclipse in Aquarius today, and like, how beautiful does the universe provide that I'm here today to be talking to you guys on the exact day of the eclipse. I'm pretty hyped for that. So, hey, Mama Sparky and Joe Hampton and Garden Star. Oh, so many guys are already here in the chat. And hey, Stain from Belgium. How is it going? Greetings, everyone. Yeah, Stain, let me know how are you doing because you are an Aquarius. So I'm pretty curious for that. And hey, Yana and Mim Jax. So many of you here today. All right, let's start the week because maybe we need to start, and also me, by taking a deep breath because this is the week that we have been building towards for months. So if the past few weeks felt like a little bit of the trailer, then this is going to be the movie that is about to kick off. The solar eclipse, Saturn-Neptune conjunction. 3 days later, we see Venus conjunct the North Node this week. Pisces season is going to kick off, and we are also going to see a trine from Mercury and also Venus to an exalted Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. So, yeah, we are moving from like cosmic electricity into then cosmic water, then into like a brand new 36-year cycle of reality that is being rewritten in real time. So, yeah, no pressure, guys. How are you doing with the energy? And like, hi, Maureen. Happy birthday to you. You are going to have such an incredible year filled with change and transformation. Yeah, it's going to be a year for the history books for you. So, congratulations on this very special day here. And then we have Funky Wanderer says, buckle up, Buttercup. We are about to go for a ride. Yes, exactly. And that fits so well with the fire horse energy that is also kicking off today. A lot of people are gonna jump onto their horse, and the horse is just gonna like take off. But it's gonna like go up in the air. People are gonna fall off. You're gonna see it. It's about impulsivity, and it's really about, yeah, just like the excitement and just taking the horse just for the sake of getting a ride. And we're gonna need to be a little bit patient. We're gonna have to like pace ourselves because we do not want the horse to break a leg in any kind of way, because then that is going to be very destructive. So we need to be careful and we need to breathe. And as a fire sign myself, that is just so applicable here for me as well. But we need to really take it step by step. This is about major change in the next 2 weeks. We are in the eclipse portal, you guys. So, wow. This is a very big time of unexpected things coming up. And everything that you are everything you are expecting is probably not going to happen. It's going to be way more out of the blue, way more about things that you do not see coming. And that is the beauty of life. Isn't that right, you guys? If we were to know everything, then it would be not so pleasant. I like the unexpected a little bit. And this is really going to be a week of massive plot twists. So If you are already encountering some of these plot twists, let me know in the chat. I'm very curious to hear about your stories. So yeah, it is a marvelous time. I'm reading here in the in the chat that a lot of you guys are definitely also excited. And Stain says no earthquakes nor tsunamis or ET visits so far, so I'm cool. That is funny, because actually the Neptune Saturn conjunction is really connected to like ETs and extraterrestrial beings presenting themselves to us. And the earthquakes and tsunamis, it is actually also in the cards here, because the solar eclipse in Aquarius rules over things being unstable, things being shaken up, volcanoes, earthquakes, the ring of fire is definitely going to see some kind of a triggering event here. I think we're already seeing this in Hawaii right now, and more of that, unfortunately, is to come, because it's at 0 degrees of Aries. It is very, very strong potential. It is like unlimited potential, and it's at the world point axis. So yeah, we might see some very, very even a bit scary events happening. It is really, and I'm of course knocking on wood. I do not want to manifest that by in any way, but still there is a lot of instability in the sky, and of course Uranus and Aquarius rules over our sky. So yeah, we are definitely seeing that happening in the next couple of days. So yeah, so many, this is like a very big timeline shift. If you feel a little bit overwhelmed or emotional or like more fully activated than you're used to, then that is completely normal. Others are going to feel very inspired, others can feel exhausted. And yeah, if you want to change your entire life right now, then you are on the right path. You're right on schedule, actually. Uranus is really breaking you free from all the prolonged stuck cycles that we've been in for the last few years. So yeah, if you feel overstimulated, if you feel like your sleep is a little bit weird, if your plans change very suddenly, then it is completely normal now. It is actually the whole point of this eclipse to really awaken us and to reboot and install like a whole new software in our hard disk and in our consciousness. And this is a very, very big consciousness upgrade. So yeah, we're watching the old reality dissolve and the new one being initiated in real time right now. So yeah, good morning. This week is shaping up to be more crazy weather. Yes, unfortunately it is, because this eclipse squares its ruler Uranus, and Uranus is at the final degrees of Taurus, and Taurus is Mother Earth. So yes, unfortunately, we're going to see more extreme weather this week, absolutely. And I'm very glad, El Mill, that you are feeling inspired. I'm having like tons of ideas coming through, and it's very important right now with the unstable energy of Aquarius. These are like sudden like light bulbs switching on. And if you have an idea, if you have a download, if you are being able to channel the intensity right now, it would be very wise to write everything down. Journal, write down your ideas, just quickly grab your phone and just write it down in your notes, because as quick as the insights of Uranus come through, as quickly they can disappear again. It is like poof, poof, poof. It's like frequency, electricity, and this week is really going to be like a very big lightning strike, for better or for worse. That really depends on where the eclipse falls in your own natal chart. And hey, Yana, the ringing in my head is calmer now. Yeah, I've noticed the shift as well, especially this afternoon. I was sitting outside, and it is very strange. On days of an eclipse, when you sit outside, everyone is like silent. There's like a very uncanny silence up in the air. There are no birds chirping. There are no dogs barking. you just like feel the weird energy in the sky, and it's always giving me some kind of goosebumps. So yeah, it is a very, very special time right now. This week is going to be one for the history books for sure. So let's start with looking at the first day, and that is, of course, today, the 17th. We are seeing this Aquarius eclipse, and we are actually with the eclipse, that is like a very big future reset. And then with Saturn-Neptune 3 days later, that is a whole new cycle. And then Pisces season begins all this week. So we go from like the end, Pisces, to the void, to then like the rebirth. So yeah, this week is really going to change who people are. And we are going from this passive dreamer, or like from the passive dream state, to becoming a more embodied initiator. So yeah, your life direction is not just changing, it is actually your sense of self that is changing along with that. And that can feel a little bit uncomfortable. We see Saturn on Neptune, and that is like the adults in the room, they are drunk, they have no idea what's going on, there is a little bit of chaos, there is not a lot of clarity right now, especially also with Mercury that is in its pre-shadow retrograde phase right now. So that means that Mercury is about to station retrograde next week on the 26th. So yeah, it is actually all the decisions that you're making now are going to be reviewed in some kind of way later during the month. And really take notion of who is entering your life right now. They are going to become very, very important later. So eclipse days, they are not manifestation days. I want to really point that out, that eclipses, and definitely this one, it is a very big wild card. And if you're going to do rituals or spell work or divination, or just like, also do not cleanse your crystals if you were to do that under a new moon. Normally that is done under a full moon, of course, but still do not try to channel the unstable energy into your manifestation, into your spell work, into your rituals. I'm going to point out a way more, a better day to do all of these things. And that is going to be when the moon shifts over into Pisces, actually tomorrow and the day after that. That is going to be way more beneficent. So, yeah, it is like very, very interesting here with the Aquarius eclipse, because it is at like the last degrees of Aquarius. So when we look at the sign here of Aquarius, it has 30 degrees. And every 10 degree is actually a decan. So this is the first decan, this is the second decan, and this is the third decan. So the first decan is where things are being initiated, and the second decan is where they get integrated. But then the third decan is where things are becoming manifested on a full-blown global scale. So it is very important. It is at 28 degrees, so at the final end of Aquarius. It has a lot of Aquarius energy here being integrated into this eclipse. And on the fact that it squares off with its ruler Uranus, which belongs to Aquarius, of course, just makes this a whole lot more unstable and a whole lot more unpredictable. It is actually difficult if you see astrologers saying like, this is going to happen or that is going to happen, and they are fully convinced, then they're probably going to be wrong, because Uranus is about the things that we do not see coming. So yeah, it is very difficult to exactly predict what is going to happen with this, but surely it's going to shake up all the systems, Saturn, and Neptune is dissolving them, and then Uranus and Aquarius are causing massive breakthroughs and innovation and solutions that are going to come forth by all of the collapsing systems that we are seeing right now. So, of course, Aquarius rules over the collective, technology, networks, freedom, the future, and actually the future that you thought you wanted, but it's going to be totally different, and it's even going to be better than you could have imagined. So, On a more personal level, Aquarius deals with our friend groups. So we might see shakeups or even breakups within our friend groups. We can redefine our role within society and what you contribute, what you put on the table. Because the real currency right now with Pluto in Aquarius, the real power lies within the people you connect yourself with, Aquarius. So that is really the new currency here, guys. It is the 5 closest people around you. And the future that you were planning for actually no longer exists. And this eclipse says, like, okay, well, here you have a new one. So you can feel like also with the Aquarius energy, it rules over technology, and yeah, we're gonna see cyber attacks and power outages and issues with internet or like cryptocurrencies, or like issues with transferring your money or digital coins from one platform to another. That is all very typically here under this eclipse energy. But it's also like on a more personal level that we are like updating our phone and suddenly none of our apps work anymore. And we're just like sitting here like, okay, well, now I guess I'm gonna have to do something totally different now. And that is like the overall energy. And we know that eclipses, they are not subtle, very big reset in our timeline. It is the sign of the future. And yeah, Aquarius is where like the universe is updating all the operating systems within our life, and mostly the invisible operating systems within our life. And eclipses, they do not ask for permission. And Uranus and Aquarius definitely do not do that. It is a very authentic sign. And something is actually being cleared now so that a new vision for your future can come in. At the end of Aquarius, the end of like the cycle energy, and you are actually like graduating from an older version of yourself. You might see that you outgrow your goals, even identities, especially with Saturn-Neptune at the beginning of Aries. And the question now becomes like, where do you actually belong? And where do you want to contribute? Where do you want to form new bonds? Because Aquarius, it is about our soul tribe. And we might really meet new, very important people under this energy that are going to help us on the next leg of our journey. Because look at this, guys. Also, Mercury and Venus are conjunct the North Node. That is calling in. This is like destiny knocking on your front door, about romance, about connections, even in regards to siblings, that there can be a very intense destined shift going on. But the collectivism of Aquarius is getting also a cosmic soothing balm of the universal qualities of Pisces. And that is, of course, compassion and surrender and trust the divine, and really, yeah, leaning into our destiny right now. And look, this makes a trine to Jupiter. This is like very, very beautiful energy. And on the world level, we can definitely see a lot of alliances break, and by that also very fastly new alliances are gonna be mended or like formed. So also we're going to see new leaders here with Saturn, Neptune, them announcing new kinds of technologies and how that's going to be implemented in society. So yeah, some people are going to rebel against that quite strongly, because Aquarius, it is the visionary, it is the rebel, it is the liberator, and it is also about fighting for our rights. So yeah, people are on the streets in a very, very big, massive way and huge numbers right now. And this is like kicking off a new 6 to 18-month storyline. So yeah, this is not a one-day event, you guys. We are kicking off a whole new eclipse cycle here in the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius is also like the collective, the internet, the public, and how they are reacting to like the collapsing systems right now. And if you want to know more about this Aquarius eclipse, last Sunday I did a whole eclipse webinar, and I've went on for like 4.5 hours. I've really like went the extra mile for you guys, because I really wanted to like benefit the society, and because that's very applicable to the Aquarius eclipse, I also wanted to keep it very affordable. It is only 20 bucks. So if you want to know more about this eclipse, we're going to talk about the Sabian symbol and the fire horse and how that's all connected and how that also played out in our historic cycle. So you can still find my webinar on the Beyond Mystic Academy page if you want to go check that out. So if we then look a bit more, because Mercury also trines Jupiter here in the chart exact, and Gemini and Virgo, if you are one of those signs, that is going to be very important because Mercury is your chart ruler. And it's also important for Sagittarius and Pisces rising because Jupiter is, of course, your chart ruler. And of course, also, if you are a Cancer, Jupiter is in your sign, you're also going to be like massively implicated by that. And water trines, that is a very, very positive flow. It is beautiful synergy. And it is like an effortless flow that we are seeing here in the chart. It is like the blending of both energies of Mercury and Jupiter in a very, very positive way. And that is also another soothing cosmic balm here with the erratic, electrifying solar eclipse and the combination of Saturn and Neptune on top of that. So for some of us, this can definitely indicate lucky breaks, but don't push it too much. Just let it naturally align and come to you with the beautiful water trine. But these can definitely be positive developments in all mercurial things, can be optimistic news, announcements, messages, contracts, and Mercury, it isn't retrograde yet, but it's in its pre-shadow phase right now. So the good news that you receive now is going to have major implications over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And also, Pisces, it is about global policies with Jupiter. Jupiter rules over our law and legality, and Pisces is about global, and then Mercury is trade. So yeah, policies, trade, new diplomatic forming of bonds. That is going to be very, very huge, and it's going to change the world stage in the next couple of weeks here with the Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Now, of course, Mercury is at fall in detriment in Pisces, so he doesn't really like to be there. Still, it is Pisces, it is about forgiveness and empathy and sensitivity. It can be very, very beautiful if you want to write poetry to your friends or partner. If you are a musician, you can create very, very beautiful music under this influence. And there is like a heightened sense of intuitive nudges right now. There's also about, because Mercury is about how we speak, how we communicate, how we write things down. And Pisces is like all is one. We're all together in this big pot and ocean of feelings and emotions. So it is a very sensitive placement for Mercury and for our collective minds to operate in right now. And we can feel a heightened emphasis on telepathic communication and really receiving a lot of beautiful synchronistic messages in our dreams, because Pisces also rules over our dream world. With the North Node and Venus, this is like very beautiful energy right now that is seeping through in our astral bodies as well. So really, if you wake up and you had like a very intense, beautiful dream that was full of messages, then you can really write that down. I would strongly recommend you to keep a dream journal right now, because your guides and the angelic realm and the unseen realm, which belongs to Pisces, is really here to support us right now. And Venus is exalted in Pisces, Jupiter is exalted in Jupiter, so they are communicating very, very well to one another. And then next week, we're going to see the exact trine of Venus and Jupiter. Actually, already on Sunday, it's already kicking in. So at the end of the week, we're going to have a way more Yeah, calmer. It's gonna become calmer, definitely on Sunday, but I'm gonna highlight that in a couple of minutes. So what we're also seeing here right now is that if you're into like artwork, photography, making movies or videos, that is like perfect. We're gonna see some very, very beautiful divine art being created right now. And Fire Within says, I have been dreaming even more than usual. Yes, exactly. That is beautiful energy here of everything in Pisces. And of course, with the Aquarius eclipse, it can be a little bit more difficult to fall asleep. Actually, that's what I've been noticing because Aquarius rules over our nervous system and we need to like really calm it down. And mostly, I always advise to listen to binaural beats whenever you feel like you cannot fall easily asleep. And I did it yesterday evening and I fell asleep with my binaural beats and even still with my music on, which almost never happens. But I woke up during listening to binaural beats and that like never happened before. So I was like, wow, this Aquarius energy, it is very, very strong. It is even like kicking me out or like intervening me in my sleep while I'm listening to binaural beats. That never happened before. So I was like, wow, the universe is like really ding, ding, ding with a big bell, just like shaking us up and waking us up in a very, very big way right now. So, Garden Star says Pisces rising and sun, intuition is strong, vivid dreams happening lately. I can imagine. And wait until Pisces season kicks off, Garden Star, because then all of the planets will be on your natal placements. And I have a Pisces stellium, so I'm very, very interested in what is about to kick off. And exactly Fire Within 528 hertz music works well for relaxing and getting to sleep. Yes, I love that because I am a fire sign and I have a little bit of ADD. I go from this to that, and it's like a ping pong machine in my head inside. And at night, that really helps me a lot for calming down my nervous system. And yes, exactly, Anna. Astral projection. It is very, very strongly indicated here in the chart. And my favorite binaural beats are actually, I don't have my phone now with me, otherwise I would show you. But if you just type in binaural beats sleep, there is one. Yeah, for me, it always like jumps to the top because I always listen to the same one. But it's like a red circle that will appear with like sleep in it, and it just like it dings from time to time, and it has like a very, very specific undertone to it, and that one specific one, it always does the trick for me. But you really need to dive in and tune in with your own intuition, because every tune will have like another effect, depending also on the state of consciousness that you find yourself in. But there are so many beautiful binaural beats that I could actually make a whole list. And maybe I need to share it on my YouTube and make a whole playlist of the best binaural beats. That would be an idea to do so. Um, yeah, Michael. Hi, Michael. It is conjunct your Mars. Yeah, then your passion and energy and drive and also sexuality is getting massively triggered here. And also, like Wilder Dike says, yeah, indeed, Mars is actually also in the same site, in the same sign of Aquarius. So I'm actually going to open it like this again, because actually we see something pretty profound going on here. So the ancient ruler of Aquarius is actually Saturn, and Saturn is in Aries. But if we then look at the planet that belongs to Aries, that is Mars, and it's in Aquarius. So there is like mutual reception going on. It means that they are like having a direct hotline phone to one another, and they are asking each other like, well, how are you doing? I would rather be where you are. And they are like communicating to one another, and that creates a kind of, yeah, stability here in the chart. But that is actually helpful, because Aquarius, it is unstable, unpredictable, it can be chaotic, but due to the mutual reception of these two planets, there is like somewhat of a bit of stability found here in the chart. On the 2nd of March, Mars is going to jump over into Pisces, and then that stability will be missing. Of course, Mars also in Aquarius during this eclipse really points to frequency warfare, because Mars, it is about the military conflict. Mars rules over knives, guns, bombs. Unfortunately, it is a very active, dynamic planet, and it just adds so much fire and energy towards all the Aquarian teams here. So this is a strong one, and it's getting more stronger as it's about to square off with planet Uranus for the very last time in our lifetimes, unless you're planning on aging another 84 years. But Mars square Uranus, it is about unexpected conflict, unexpected frustration coming up. Definitely, because normally, like, Mars squares to Uranus are always creating upheaval and instability and difficult things that are being brought to the forefront. But these squares are even harder since Pluto came into Aquarius, because Uranus deposits back to Pluto here, and Mars is also here. So yeah, it is actually not very positive, because squares between Mars and Uranus, that is really when things like pop off. So I do expect this to happen within a couple of days, and especially on the 28th of February. Then we're going to see a reactivation of the eclipse degree, as Mars will be at 28 degrees exactly squaring off with Uranus. So these are unexpected confrontations, surprises, shocks, truth coming out, and Uranus rules over. Right now, it is having an implication on the Taurian themes of love, finance, and banks, and all of that. So yeah, we're definitely in for some surprises here over the next couple of days. Mark your calendar. February the 28th is going to be a reactivation of the eclipse due to Mars being at this degree. Another thing here is, of course, if we look back at the trine between Mercury and Jupiter, then that happens at 15 degrees. That is the exact trine, so a couple of hours before this chart here that I've put here in the presentation. So 15 degrees, it is a Gemini degree. It puts even more emphasis on mercurial themes. So Gemini is also about duality, or like multiple things, two narratives. So we could even have like good news coming in twice, like 2 times, double the good news. So yeah, it is actually very beneficial if you let go of overthinking, if you meditate with Mercury in Pisces. And we need to point our mind towards spiritual matters now, and that is going to balance a lot of the more difficult energy here with Mars in Aquarius. Another implication of Mars here with the eclipse is that people on the street are going to take matters into their own hands, and they're going to start to take people down who are, for example, in the Epstein files. Strong call for justice. It is fighting Mars for our rights. Aquarius, it is power. Pluto to the people, Aquarius. So yeah, this is like strongly indicated here, and causes actually massive upheaval with the square to Uranus, its ruler. We might also see more earthquakes, volcanic rumblings here with the square from Mars to Uranus within a couple of days. And also, just know that Pisces here, it is the last sign, the 12th sign. So it is about final endings. When Mercury is going to go retrograde, it is about final closure and letting go of the past, and releasing a lot of our mental and spiritual programming that actually doesn't serve us any longer. But Mercury, of course, it is also about journalism. And Pisces is about global things and global implications. So we're going to see big news and big changes in laws. Jupiter rules over laws in regards to trade, communication, immigration, deportation, which are all part of Pisces here. So yeah, the Mercury retrograde that is about to kick off, big revelations with the upcoming retrograde. And of course, it's also going to expose a lot of people that have been lying. The negative manifestation of Pisces is being deceitful. So Pisces also rules over prisons, jails, organized religion, temples, mental asylums, hidden places, confined places are all part of Pisces as well. So that is going to be major news over the next few weeks. But on a more positive level, with the beautiful trine to Jupiter here in Cancer, which rules over our family and our emotions, we can release in the next 4 weeks a lot of unresolved karma in regards to our family with the trine to Jupiter. And I would really advise you very strongly to make a vision board about the future. The North Node is the future. And Mercury is our mind. Venus are beautiful, positive blessings in regards to finances and love. But still, I'm not saying this on a global level, because if you're going to see astrologers say with the trine from Venus to Jupiter, like, oh, and the stock market is going to go up and it's going to be very beneficial for your money and our finances. No. We have an eclipse in Aquarius. This is already pointing out to stock bottoms. And then we also see Saturn-Neptune. And that is also an indication of difficulty with our finances. So do not get too overexcited because of the trine between Venus and Jupiter, because it is in water signs. It is more about our intuitive nudges and our emotions and about our reflective state, and not so much about physical finances and money. Of course, with Venus on the North Node, that is actually very beautiful energy here. And it can be very fated. This is about fated meetings here with Venus. And it can really bring people into your life who feel instantly very familiar. People who are gonna bring creative inspiration. They're gonna feel guided. And this is like not transactional love. This is about soul resonance. And it's the energy where you do not chase, but you recognize. And there is like a very strong resonance happening within our emotions and within our feelings. And it can even be about soulmates coming in very strongly here with the trine to Jupiter and it being on the North Node. So, and also the fact that Mercury is going to go retrograde over the North Node. It's going to conjunct with the Sun. It's going to make 2 more trines with Jupiter along the retrograde motion. That means that everyone that's coming in now is going to help you massively. And it can also, of course, be about people from the past with Mercury retrograde. But I'm guessing here with the eclipse in Aquarius, it's more going to be new people that you actually know from your past life with Mercury in Pisces. So yeah, this is like a whole new forming of close bonds that are very distant and faded. Like whatever happens over the next few weeks, that is probably not going to be your own choice. And your ego can even be a little bit resistant towards it. Do not try to let your ego defend your soul in some kind of way, because actually your soul is intervening right now and it's bringing the right people onto your path in a very strong way. So enjoy that. And if you're being pushed out of your comfort zone, and if you feel like, oh, a little bit anxiety because the bond feels so close and so intense, just know that you're on the right path, and do not be afraid to open up your heart, because this is really beautiful, heart-centered energy here with the trine to Jupiter. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to that. And yes, fire it in. A lot happening in the next few weeks. Wow, it is incredible. And like I can see, I'm already 40 minutes in, and I've only been talking about the first day. So I'm gonna have to get it on it a little bit. But just know, very heart-centered, very big faithful meetings. And Pisces, this is about soul level encounters, and can also be about forgiveness and releasing old conditioning in regards to our love as well, and really creating a very big breakthrough within all of that. So let's look at the next day. So if you want to know more about the eclipse, you can check out my webinar for sure. I go on for over 4 hours, so enjoy that. All right, we then have on February the 18th, we have the sun entering Pisces as well. So we have Venus, Moon, Mercury, Sun, all in the sign of Pisces. My God, you guys, this is such a destined driven energy. And we see the moon trine Jupiter. That is actually great for communication and connection. And we have no more Saturn. We have no more Neptune and Pisces. There are no more invisible walls. This Pisces season is going to be quite different than the one we've seen before, especially in the last 3 years. The last 3 years, Saturn was operating in the sign of Pisces, and of course, Neptune for the last 14 years. This is going to be the first Pisces season without the big two baddies in that sign as well. So, after all the electric chaos of Aquarius, we are now entering faithful water. And unfortunately, with Saturn and Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, water themes are going to be very huge, because 0 degrees of Aries, it is the world point axis. So yeah, coastal cities, storms, floods, torrential rains, rivers, seas. We can actually, unfortunately, see dramatic weather events with these two at the world point axis. But as the sun moves into Pisces, the atmosphere is going to change immediately. After all this electrifying, mental, fast pace energy of Aquarius, we now enter more softer, like ethereal, divine waters. And this is going to be more integration. It is the final and last sign of the zodiac. So these next 4 weeks are definitely about closure, and definitely about closing the hard, difficult energies that we're operating for the last 3 to actually 14 years in the sign of Pisces. The Mercury retrograde is going to review everything and all the regards of the last years of being stuck in the mud, not being able to progress, not being able to see clearly. And the Mercury retrograde is going to wrap all of that up. So a lot of people are actually releasing old dreams, releasing old chapters, and this is really about final closure. And it can be emotional. Pisces is very sensitive, and our psychic antennas, they are actually on like 1,000% right now. We are all gonna be huge sponges, so be careful about the energy that you surround yourself with. If it's energy that is draining you, that is like familiar to the past, you might need to release that. We need to call in new people and new bonds and new actually soul contracts that are gonna charge us instead of deplete us. Saturn is out of Pisces, so that is actually very, very powerful. And yes, Yana, a very, very crazy stellium, and this is actually the big buildup until March, when all the planets will be in Aries. So this is a very big time of reflection and going inward, because as soon as Aries season kicks off, and that is going to be my next workshop, just for your information, we're going to have a 7 planetary stellium in the sign of Aries, and then it's not going to be about reflection anymore. Then it's going to be full force ahead. So yeah, that is going to be fire for sure in the sign of Aries. So yeah, this is such an incredible astrological year. I'm so happy to be talking about it to all of you guys, because yeah, this is like the quiet before the storm. April, things are gonna kick off. But also take notice of like the precognitive, intuitive nudges in the next couple of weeks. We can all feel like something big is gonna happen. But I think the major thing that is gonna happen is gonna be on the 20th for sure, something big. But then all of it is gonna be another build up towards April. So Pisces season is more going to be about integration and closure and preparation for our rebirth in Aries, when we have the real new year and the spring equinox for sure. So just know that this is not the action phase. Nothing moves fast in Pisces. This is really about like the dreaming phase before new lives begins and before like the seed sprouts in Aries season. So Aries is the birth and Pisces is the womb. So we all need to like go inward during Pisces season. So yeah, very big integration phase before the Aries explosion. And yeah, just know, do not burn yourself out right now. Otherwise, you're going to have problems in April. Yes, spicy April for sure. And Rosalie, exactly, I am open to new soul connections with like-minded souls. That is actually a very beautiful mantra that you can repeat starting from tomorrow when we go out of the eclipse energy. That is actually something that is going to help us massively by singing and chanting that every single day in Pisces season. And then you're going to get more help by going through the April craziness that is about to kick off. Yeah, exactly, Bamlo, the fire horse. What are you running from? Truth, it's not gonna work. No, definitely not gonna work. But I feel like a lot of people are gonna jump onto their untamed horse, and things are gonna be pretty wild. So we need to be a little bit careful that we first learn how to tame our inner horse before we set the house on fire in April during Aries season. So the next day is February the 19th. That is going to be quite special because the moon is about to leave the sign of Pisces. And pay attention, because for you guys, it's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time, because this is the chart for 12 p.m. Eastern time. And then the moon will be on Saturn and Neptune. So pay attention. All the planets will be at 0 degrees. We're going to see very big, significant stuff happening on the world stage, like really big historical stuff. Of course, also Mars will then also during that day, more towards the evening time, switch towards its 22nd degree. That is a very difficult degree, honestly. But 0 degrees of Aries, that is like the initiatory degree, and it's about combat and building things and maybe even demolishing things. And it's gonna ask us to be bravery. Like, universe is gonna reward the bold this year and those who are gonna like show their bravery. But on a more world stage level, we might even see martial law being kicked off here. That is definitely a possibility. Citizen arrests, people really enforcing the rules the rules of the law in regards to the files that were exposed. And I can see it here. People are going to take matters into their own hands, and it's going to be quite strong. And we can even see big arrests happening during that day and the days after that. Also worth to mention, especially for the States, is that Uranus is actually on the exact same placement, or like exact same place right now before the US entered World War II. So I know that can sound a little bit scary, but still there is a very big potential here. Definitely when the moon is going to conjunct Saturn and Neptune, that something is going to kick off. So during those days, act on your intuition. if you want something, if you need something, just go get it and listen to it and prepare yourself in some kind of way. There can be like also with this conjunction bit grief for the past that is gone. The old world is crumbling. Do not look back. It is not going to help you in any kind of way. There can also be a little bit fear about the future and a lot of questions about who you are becoming or where we are heading. Just know that this is a very big transition phase in which everything crumbles down, and that can feel a little bit overwhelming or unsure or unstable, but it is very, very necessary to go through this phase. The old world is actually gone, but the new one isn't fully built yet, and that can feel a little bit difficult to manage. So something else I've got for you guys here today is our beautiful Shannon is actually going to start her membership. So it's called Waking Up with Shannon, and you can do a whole membership with her. It is going to be a very beautiful, heart-centered space to listen to each other, to soften, and to really heal. There's also an invitation here, this membership, to slow down, to turn inward, and to really reconnect with the intelligence that is actually already here and already knows how to heal you. So these are going to be live group consciousness healing sessions, and Shannon is going to host them 4 times a week from Monday until Thursday, every time at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you can join that through the Beyond Mystic Academy. That is going to be very, very lovely to be a part of. And of course, we're also doing the Violet Flame collection here. These are new pyramids from Carla. They are so, so beautiful. And finally, they're here. They are grafted in a very beautiful golden ratio. And they are actually infused with the violet flame of protection. Yeah, I'm going to get one of these myself, you guys. And if you want one as well, then you can use the promo code Beyond Mystic to get 10% off. And you, of course, can order them at the Ascension Organics website. So if we then continue with the biggest day, like I know the Aquarius eclipse is already a very big day, but the 20th is also actually massive, because then we're seeing the exact Saturn-Neptune conjunction. It is actually very special because the last 6 years, we have been going through conjunction after conjunction with all of the outer planets. So in 2020, we first saw Pluto with Saturn, with Jupiter, then Jupiter with Neptune, and Jupiter with Uranus. Now we're seeing Saturn with Neptune. So for the last 6 years, we have been going through one big hit after another. And it was a lot like the big conjunction, the triple conjunction of Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter happened in January of 2020. And like we all know what happened then. So this is another big conjunction that we are seeing right now. And we are now actually coming out of like this consecutive 6 years of conjunctional astrology. And it brings massive changes, you guys. We're going to see another conjunction, and that will happen in 2032. That will be between Saturn and Uranus, and that is then going to be the last big conjunction before we like move into like a whole new world. Things are going to calm down after 2032, unfortunately, but this 10-year period from 2020 to 2032, that is like massive astrology. And we need to go back thousands and thousands of years to actually find a little resemblance of all the big things that are happening right now. So I hope that like informs you a bit more about these unprecedented times of change that we are in right now. It is such a spectacular astrology. And especially this week, it is like one anomaly after another, all compounded into like 1 week. It is quite special. So The moon, of course, is still in Aries as well. All the planets are dispositing back to Mars in Aquarius, and Mars is going to make it square with Uranus. Holy guacamole. Because Saturn-Neptune, it is the dissolving of old walls. The walls are coming down. Like, don't go sitting next to the walls because they're going to implode here during these days. And we can see major resigns in big companies because Saturn rules about people who are in a top position. Neptune is dissolving that. Saturn rules over our government, CEOs, big corporations, people in a top position like heads of banks, presidents, royals, everyone who's like implicated in the files. We are going to see more arrests, and we are going to see more people who are gonna hand in their resignation letter. That is actually very, very profound here. And Mars is at 22 degrees of Capricorn, of Aquarius, but 22 is a Capricorn degree. Another emphasis on that, squaring Uranus, sudden changes, sudden surprises, truths coming out. But 22 degrees, it is also the critical Capricorn of the killed or to be killed degree in astrology. Guys, this is going to be an intense day. Very heated conflicts can come up, and Aries is already the sign of war and conflict, and it's also about identity, and we're going to see new leadership stepping in. This is really also about the spiritual warriors coming forth, and also on a personal level, people really living their truth and embodying that and standing up for it. So yeah, I'm sorry, but like meditation is no longer going to be enough. It's about taking action and really building the life that you want to see crystallizing into reality. So it is actually the end of spiritual bypassing. It is very, very spectacular. The dream now and our vision, Neptune, it requires structure and action. And the old system was like visualize and wait until my manifestation comes true. Now we need to embody and actively build it, because it's not going to work like that anymore. We're over and done with that. So we are at a very, very big civilizational reset point here. I'm gonna do a whole Saturn-Neptune video on my own channel, probably this week if I have the time. There's just so much going on, but there's a whole lot more to say about that. But let's switch over to the 21st, because then the moon will be conjunct Chiron in Aries. So be careful. Aries rules over the head. We can see that the moon is triggering our wounds. That can be literal, but also figurative wounds here. But we're also seeing the square from Mars to Uranus. So it's not only about wounds in our confidence and our ego and our identity. It can also be about rejection or fear of being seen. But because all of this combination, and especially the moon now deposits back to Mars in Aquarius. Mars is at a very critical degree, which is implicating that there can be some wounding going on. The square to Uranus makes it shocking, surprising, unexpected, and very unstable here. So, of course, Aries, it rules over our head. And that can be like migraines or head injuries or heated emotions. And Uranus, it is shocking, unexpected, surprising. If you, for like an example, if you bump your head, that is because the energy is trying to find an outlet. So if you, I do it all the time. Like I am an Aries. I have a forehead. You can like build an entire city on it. It is like the sign of the ram, and it's like the sign of also going full force ahead. But I bump my head all the time. And my boyfriend always laughs at it because he's like, oh yeah, are you in your Aries mode again? But here we need to be a little bit more careful, because it sounds funny, but if you bump your head, it is really a signal of your body trying to say like, okay, you are actually encountering some upheaval or some unchanneled energy that is not, it's not being able to go through your body and to feel a release. It seeks a release. And when you bump your head, it is a sign of the universe that you need to find a physical outlet for this pent up Aries energy. So yeah, Barlow says, be better carpenters, switch over Aries rules over the head. And then yeah, it's just a little bit more difficult. If you do bump your head, just know that it's a warning sign, and you might need to just go to the gym or to the sauna, sweat it off, use heat, stare into a candle, fire, campfire. All of that is really also going to help you channel the energy. On the 22nd, that is going to be way better. Of course, still, like, when I see good things going on, there's always something like, okay, yeah, but the moon is going to square off with Pluto. Like, okay. But we're seeing Venus trine Jupiter here, and that's on Sunday. But also Saturday night for you guys in the States and Canada, Saturday night the moon will square Pluto. So that is going to be a bit more intense. But then going into Sunday, the moon is in Taurus, which is exalted. The moon likes to be in Taurus. We then also see that it sextiles to Venus in Pisces. She's also exalted here, so she likes to be here. And it trines and sextiles to Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter is also exalted. Guys, this is like another anomaly. We only see this happening every 12 years. So all of the planets that are making an aspect to one another are in a place where they like to be, and it's with the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter. So, oh my God, after everything that we're going to go through this week, we get like a bit of rest. And this is like the saving grace. So enjoy the rest, enjoy your peace, go to the spa, to the wellness, really focus on restoration after the turbulence that your nervous system had to go through for the past 4 years. Exalted moon, exalted Venus, exalted Jupiter, all sextiling and trining one another. It is actually a very romantic day. If you screwed up on Valentine's Day, then you can make it up during this day. It's going to be a cosmic balm after a very, very intense week. So make good use of that. And it's actually rare to see them all intertwining with one another. It is such a benefic energy, and it's actually going to be well deserved after everything. So the moon in Taurus is really about sensuality and intuitive harmony, feeling more secure, can be very sexy with the sextile to Venus and Pisces, because Venus and Pisces is really about like unconditional love. And it's the kind of love that we see in the movies where there's like yeah, just touching each other's finger and like the fireworks and like, yeah, it's like very, very beautiful, sensual, romantic energy. So yeah, just cuddle up, breakfast in bed. Just do all of these kind, cozy things together, because it's gonna be very, very beautiful. Thank you guys all so much in the chat for all these beautiful comments here. I'm really, really grateful for all of you guys here. And Rosalie, oh, you have your moon in Taurus. Yeah, if you have placements in Taurus, Pisces, or Cancer, then you can expect very, very good news on the 22nd. And it's going to be more intuitive and more emotional. And because, of course, Venus also rules over finances, but it's in Pisces. It is more about unconditional love and heightened empathy and really cuddling with one another with the moon in Taurus here. And then Jupiter is in the sign of the home. So all of the love and the sensuality and the connectivity is being amplified within our safe spaces. Jupiter in Cancer, our home. So this is where we're going to find the blessings, you guys. Do not go out and about and try to search for satisfaction within your ego. Just tune into yourself, surround yourself with people you love, and really make the most of this day. It is a special day. um Emotional healing is actually the word of that day. So yeah, this is like actually going to be the moment when you realize that you are supported within your new timeline. It can feel all a bit hectic, but you're going to receive some kind of message or synchronicity, or someone is going to say something to you on Sunday that is going to make you feel supported, and you're going to feel like, okay, everything is going to turn out fine, as long as you do not go off on your untamed horse on Sunday. Just calm down. If we then look at the 23rd, and that's going to be the last day of this week's forecast, this next Monday, yeah, the moon is going to be meeting up with Uranus, and Mars will be exactly almost squaring it. But the exact square of Mars and Uranus, we're about to see that on the 27th and the 28th. But of course, it's already building up, so it's already a bit present, and the moon is gonna trigger that square. So that's why I'm saying, like, take a deep breath on Sunday, because Monday it can be another hiccup kind of coming in. So yeah, we're ending the week with the square to Uranus and the moon conjuncting that, because yeah, of course, why not? It is a bit more volatile, and on the positive side, it can also create a lot of breakthroughs or like sudden decisions. But again, it's gonna activate your nervous system. So, but on the positive side, it can really break you free from something that you felt stuck in for quite some time. But on the global level, this can be about shocks in the markets, technology, earth events, protests, unexpected announcements. Yeah, Uranus is just like, here's another plot twist. Enjoy. So, the higher expression of that is freedom, the lower expression is chaos. So, the difference here is whether you resist change or if you move with it. So, there can be some sudden reactions, but definitely do not force control. This is actually a week to surrender. And if you feel a bit more tired, inspired, confused, scared, and at the same time in love with your new future timeline, while also mourning about the past, then it's not a mental breakdown this week. It is actually completely normal. Drink enough water, ground. Do not text your ex in the upcoming week. The old world, we're over that right now. So just know that we are at the threshold, and we are not here to go back to who we were. Follow your soul's mission and lean into the North Node. Next week is going to be pretty interesting as well, honestly. I cannot wait to tell you guys more about that. So, yeah. Thank you guys all so much for being with me here today. I had a blast as always. If you want, you can, of course, book in a session here at the Beyond Mystic Academy. And also do not forget to like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube, but also on Rumble. And the next show after the Astro weekly forecast is, of course, Beyond Healing with the beautiful Shannon. That will be tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check that out as well. And Stain says, oh, you're so funny, Stain. Stain says, what if my ex texts me? Well, Stain, ik sta niet in voor de gevolgen. Okay, I just like said it in Dutch because he's also from Belgium. But with Mercury retrograde, we're gonna be in contact with our exes, a lot of us. I would advise you to open up your heart to the future. And if they want to be fully co-present within your new future timeline, and that's okay, just be sure that you do not stick too much to the past, and that you do not cling to familiarity because of being a little bit afraid of the unknown. being afraid of the unknown, it is actually a beautiful thing, and it is something that we need to surrender ourselves to, because we are getting pushed out of our comfort zone. So thank you all guys all so much. And yeah, I choose freedom. That is a perfect way to end this forecast and to end the solar eclipse in Aquarius day, because that is in the end all about future. So I wish you all a beautiful eclipse, a beautiful fire horse, a beautiful new lunar new year, a beautiful Saturn Neptune conjunction, and a beautiful Mercury on the North Node. Oh my God, this is such a big week. And let me know in the comments below how you are experiencing the week ahead. And I'm going to be very interested in listening and reading all your stories. So thank you guys all so much. And I will be back soon for another forecast. Bye bye.